Welcome back to Star Trek Online, everybody. I am your host, the Housecoat Gamer. Today we are taking a look at the Tallis-class Warbird and its Tavaro refit counterpart, and the Tallis refit from Picard. Where to start? Well, we may as well start with the Tavaro. First seen in Star Trek Enterprise episode Minefield. We don't see much of this ship, due to the fact that it has a rather primitive, for that era, cloaking device. It's not as good as the one in the 23rd century, but apparently the two ships were lost shortly after running into Enterprise, if you take the novels as reliable sources. Anyway, gonna borrow a bit from Armada here and go. Remember those old crappy ships from the Starfleet Museum's collection? Well, this is basically one of those in a much shinier Tal Shiar shell. Explains why the Tal Shiar is still why the Imperial Navy is still using them about 300 years later. 250. Close enough. This little infamous thing, the original bird of prey. The one we're all familiar with. This ship has many, many, many names. And I'm not going to even bother pronouncing them all. Mostly because I don't think I can pronounce them all. Also, I don't remember them all. However, this ship first appeared in Balance of Terror, and despite being rather slow, it had a nasty plasma torpedo launcher. And it hurts. And believe me, I've been hit by it. It's not fun. And it was commanded by, well, Mark Leonard. The same guy who would later play Sarek, Spock's father. Yeah. Early TOS was weird. I will freely admit it. It was weird. Glorious, but weird. We rarely see this ship later on. We also don't see any Romulan ships from the TMP era. That said, this is as close as we're going to get to a Tallis-class refit from the TMP era. It certainly looks like it. This is the Warlord flagship from Picard, where a Romulan warlord, I forget his name, is trying to kill Picard, but due to the fact that his flagship's technology is ancient, it's 200 years old, I don't blame him. 150, you get the idea. Of course, La Serena and Seven of Nine's little gunboat have to work together to disable it, because presumably it's seen a few other upgrades under the hood, like a singularity reactor. Yeah, this thing is nasty. I'm not a fan of the Malem skin, I'm just gonna say it. In case you're wondering, there is a legendary version of this, which I love. If only because it gives me access to this. I like the Tallis refit skin. It fits so well with the TMP era. In fact, I would love to put this thing in as a TMP era Romulan starship. But before I wax lyrically, the legendary version is very much a tactically focused gunboat. 5 tactical console slots, 5 forward weapon slots, 2 rear ones. Experimental weapon slot, but That's par for the course nowadays, isn't it? Couple of engineer. I'm without looking at the stats, as I don't remember which is more biased, engineering or science. Someone's probably going to put that in the comments. Don't hold it against me. I haven't played with this ship in a while. For good reason. I've had other ships to play with. Would I recommend you get it? Get the Legendary. As much as I love the Legacy of Romulus pack and the others, like the Defiant pack, the one with the Core, Valiant, and Malem, I prefer having all of my consoles on one ship when I get them. Call me lazy. I prefer it that way. That way I can just put those 3 on the ship, put on anything else, and fly. But seriously, this thing fires a plasma torpedo from hell. You don't want to get hit by that. Housecoat Gaming, signing off.